Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It is not too late. Today I want to do a debt confession recap and talk to something I've alluded to numerous times, which is the fact that I am going to have to increase my debt. And I am really looking for some help and advice on the best way to go about that. I'm going to explain the situation in pretty good detail so that you guys have the information, because this has to happen and I need to know how to do it. So I would love for you to, like, subscribe, comment down below on what I can do, and then I will research, what you guys suggest, and you can follow along and see how that works. So I am doing a 30-day budget reset because I know I have these things coming. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to go over just really quickly. Let me zoom you in. Go over really quickly kind of where we stand right now, and then I'll let you know what's coming up. So my husband's car has a balance of $674.72. That is in the process of getting paid off right now. That is saving me $550 a month. Bank of America has a balance of $648.28, minimum payment of $25. Home Depot is 0 interest right now until December. Balance of $433.42. Minimum payments $29. I need to pay between $60 and $70 to get that paid off by December and avoid that interest. I have 2 Capital One cards. One is $45.68.32 with a minimum payment of $165. The other Capital One card is $56.13.03 with a minimum payment of $190. I have an Amazon card with $2,847.95 with a minimum payment of $141. And then my house, which is $154,082.38, and we pay $1,250. So when I did this, the total debt was $168,868.10. So I have this fancy tracker here, and sorry, I'm just looking at my notes. And so I'm kind of breaking this down by due date and what it is. We're going to total it up, see what I've got so I can see the money that I have to play with. So on the first is my mortgage. And this is $1,250. Food, I do $250 a paycheck, so most months that's $500. Home Depot is due on the 5th, and like I said, that is about, I'm just going to put 70. It might be a little bit less than that. Capital One and Capital Two are due on the 7th. And that was $190 and $165. My internet, I live out in the middle of nowhere. And this is my only internet option, so it is $150. I don't have cable, TV, any of that. Okay, of course my battery died, so sorry if there's a blip there. My husband twice a month gets $50, so that's $100. That is for his spending. My water bill is due on the 15th. That's about $60. My Bank of America credit card is due on the 17th. That's down to $25. My car I don't have to write down anymore. My phone is $100. Garbage is about $30. On the 22nd, this goes on the 20th. My Amazon is $141. That is also on the 22nd. Okay, so let's total this up real quick. Let's see if I can make sure you can see everything. Okay, so $1,250 plus 500 plus 70 plus 190 plus 165 plus 150 plus 100 plus 60 plus 25 plus 100 plus 30 plus 141 equals 2,781. Okay. Let me just get a blank piece of paper here. So my income, I get paid every other week. So paycheck 1, paycheck 2. I'm going to average it out because sometimes I miss a little bit of time. You know, they let us off early or different things. I do not get overtime. With this job, there's just nothing I can do to get more hours. The most I can get, if I work every bit of my hours, which is 37.5 hours a week, with my taxes and everything, is 1,530. For the purposes of budget, I say $1,450 each check. My second job pays once a month and it's $600. So, $1,450 plus $1,450 plus 600 is 3,500. So you flip this over. Whoops, wrong one. It's my old one. Flip this over. You subtract $27.81 is $719, which does not give me a whole lot to play with. That car payment I was making was $550 a month, so that is why it was a real struggle. It needed to get paid off. Okay, so here's my options. Here's what's going on. I'm in my mid-50s. My husband and I got married young. We had 4 kids. We'd never owned a home. Finally got our kids raised and out of the house and, you know, college or whatever they were doing. Started saving. My husband had a really good job, you know, saving up for a house. We did not have any debt. We had always paid cash for everything. We were in a position where, you know, we had some things. We started working on our credit. Had not really heard of Dave Ramsey at the time. So saving up for a house. So a year ago, just over a year ago, well, actually 2 years ago, I found a house. I was kind of busy at the time. I didn't have a chance to go see it. When I was finally ready to go see it, it had sold. I was like, oh, that's a bummer. Moved on. About 6 months later, the house comes on the market again. So I call my realtor and we make an appointment to go see it. It's in the right area. It is at the high end of my budget, but it's manageable. It needs some work, but I live in Washington State, and houses are really expensive out here. It's one of the more expensive areas in the country. And the house was appropriately priced for the work that it needed. So that was taken into account. So great. It was like a 2-hour drive to get there from where we were living currently. So, you know, I had to get home. Our realtor had to get home. By the time we got home from the viewing, the first viewing, it had sold. And we were the second people to see it. Okay, it was not meant to be. We move on. Almost a month later, it comes back on the market again. I call my realtor. I said, call and find out what's going on. So he does that. In the meantime, I start doing some research, and my realtor calls me back. And so when it had sold initially, the realtor had bought it because he was trying to get the family into a bigger home. They had 3 boys. And so he had basically paid them what they owed on it. He paid a really low price for the property. In that 6 months, he had the house painted on the inside, and he had flooring put on down on the main floor. That was it. That was all he had done. There's a couple of things that need to be dealt with. One of them is the roof. Anyway, I made a low offer. I allowed that realtor to get a profit for what he paid for it and the work that he put in and still make a profit. I offered him a low price. And he thought about it and he decided to take it with no further repairs done. I still had an inspection, so I knew what needed to be done. I had a contractor and an actual inspector both come at the same time because I knew there were a couple of issues. So the first issue is the roof. So I had 2 different guys up on the roof, one of them my contractor, and they were both and they went up in the attic and they went up on the actual roof itself and walked the roof. They both said that I can get a few more years out of the roof. It is going to need to be replaced, so I want to start saving for that and make arrangements for that. That's fine. That's fair. The contractor told me the amount so that I could start saving for it, and that was a non-issue. The other issue is one of the bathrooms. So the people that lived here before had 3 boys, and the oldest was, maybe preteen, 10 to 12, somewhere in there. The upstairs bathroom in the shower, they must have like jumped on it or something, and it didn't have the right support underneath of it. There is a crack that runs up the entire bathtub on the bottom, so you can't run the water because it just runs, in between the floors. That whole tub surround thing has to be taken out and replaced. That's, somewhere between $1,000 and $1,500 installed. I can get some. It's not a huge thing. It was not going to be a deal breaker for the house. There is another bathroom with a shower. It's just my husband and I. It's we did not expect a pristine brand new house and everything perfect. The sink and the toilet work upstairs, and we can take a shower in the downstairs bathroom, and we'll fix it. We'll save up for it and we'll fix it. Fine. Not a deal breaker. There's some cracks on the kitchen countertop. The counter works fine. It doesn't leak. It's not like water's getting, anywhere. It needs to be leveled or something, It's something we can save for and deal with. So not a deal breaker. The problem is the roof. Even though I've had it inspected, and I've had it inspected 2 more times in the past year, my insurance company, even though I have all of these contractors and everything saying it's fine, the first insurance company, the underwriters were like, well, we're not gonna, it basically came down to they're not gonna renew my insurance. So I had to, I had paid for a year, so I was covered for a year. They were not going to renew me. So before they could cancel me, I got new insurance when it came due in March, and that was fine. Well, now the second insurance company is questioning. So I'm sending all of these reports from the contractors, the people actually doing the work, the people actually climbing up on the roof and saying, whether or not it is good or not. And everybody's saying, yeah, you can get some more time out of it. It's, you know, it's not leaking anywhere. There's 4 skylights. Nothing is leaking. Everything is maintained. And they're like, well, you really need to get it fixed. So, we also live like out in the middle of nowhere. And so it is a drive to get materials out here, to get my contractor out here to, you know, to get this work done. So my contractor called and he's like, I can fit you in August. We'll get it done in the dry season so we can, you know, we'll take the roof off. We'll make sure that, you know, nothing, you know, needs replaced underneath, and, you know, be able to get it done when it's nice and dry and everything, and move forward. And I had to accept that because I cannot have my insurance canceled over a roof that I knew I was going to have to replace. I was hoping I could push it out longer, but I can't. So I have to come up with $15,000 in 2 months. So maybe I'm wrong. I've got a couple of options. I don't know anything about a HELOC. I know that I paid significantly less for my house than, you know, what it is supposedly worth. So that should mean that I have some equity that I can go and draw on, if I understand how it works. I don't have enough on my cards to put it on my credit cards. Even if I max them out, I mean, it would be tight. Maybe I could max them out, and which I don't want to do. The interest is outrageous. The other option is do I find a no interest credit card, because I have managed to keep my credit score up. Do I, you know, do I get like a personal loan? The interest rates are just so high, but they're going to be lower than the credit cards, unless maybe I can find a no interest and then just pour everything, you know, and pay it in whatever time frame. But I don't know if I can do that, and that scares me a lot. So I really need some advice, because I don't know what to do. I can't lose this house. I couldn't find somewhere to rent for what we're paying for our mortgage. Even our old place we were renting from my mom, and we were paying more than that. The rent and, you know, housing is, and I know everybody has, you know, I'm not alone in this issue. Everybody has, you know, has housing costs, and it's, everything is through the roof. but I don't know what to do. I've got to find this money somehow, some way, and get this roof done. The other problem that I kind of alluded to in one of my other videos, we just paid off my husband's car. My car has 300,000 miles on it, and it's fine right now, and there's nothing wrong with it. He just put brakes on it. It's got newer tires. It's maintained, but it's not going to last forever. It's going to, you know, and finding a car is hard, and I don't want to, I'm not even asking for a new car, or, you know, but finding an inexpensive used car, I don't want another car payment. Am I going to end up with one? I don't know. I don't know. So I need some advice. If anybody has any experience with, you know, a HELOC or a personal loan, or, you know, if there's options that I'm not seeing, I would love to hear them, because I am really at my wit's end right now, and I'm scared, and I don't want them taking my house for something so stupid as a roof. And for, you know, paying off that car is going to free up money that I am used to spending on a car payment, so I can pay something. I just want to be smart about it. I don't want to be in debt forever. I want to pay off, you know, the debts that I have as quickly and as smart as I can. And so I really, if you have any advice, you know, please put it down in the comments. I need your guys' help. This, you know, I watch a lot of different people on YouTube, and everyone is so helpful, and I need some good, solid advice. So thanks, and I'll see you tomorrow.